guys, so I thought today we would chill out, talk about some personal policies. I'm going to share with you my top 5 personal policies that I have come up with over the last couple months and describe what they kind of are, what the purpose of them is. And yeah, hopefully after this video you can create some of your own personal policies. So this video is inspired by one of my favorite YouTubers, muchelleb. I will have her channel linked down below. Definitely watch her if you want some like inspiring videos. She's just amazing at that. I'll literally watch one of her videos like every morning just to set my day, like set the tone for the day, and I don't know, I just love her vibes and her energy, so definitely recommend her. But she did this video on Self-Love 101, and I will link that video, and she talks about the concept of personal policies being very important when it comes to self-love. And I thought this is amazing because I already kind of had a few of my own personal policies created in my mind of things that I just would not do, and now I can kind of name them and have them be an actual like rule of my life. Basically the idea of personal policies comes from the author Sarah Knight. She created the book The Life-Changing Magic of Not Giving a Fuck. This is a play, it's kind of like a parody on The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo, which I read that book and loved it, and Sarah Knight's concept and like parody of the book is kind of like, okay, well now you've decluttered your stuff with Marie Kondo, now let's declutter your mind and your life. Basically she talks about having a fuck budget, so you only have so many to give in your life and you should be picky about which things get your fucks. Anyway, enough rambling on. That is the origin of personal policies and where I originally heard about them. Basically what a personal policy is they're like rules that you have that you do not compromise on because you either don't care about that thing or you are not comfortable doing said thing, so you don't want to have anxiety about that thing, which is mostly what mine are based on, is anxiety. So I decided, you know what, it causes that much anxiety to the point of almost panic attacks, I'm not gonna do it. And you have a right to not do things. Don't believe society or like what other people do as like the baseline of what you need to do as well. Like you can have rules in your life that you don't compromise on because you don't want to have to deal with it or want to handle it. Fortunately, being an adult is not one of those things. So I suggest when you're coming up with your own personal policies, get specific about certain things that really take so much energy from you and you want to stop spending that energy on those things. So I'm going to share with you my top 5 personal policies. I am very picky when it comes to making these because I want them to be reasonable. It's not like I don't know what, but I'm picky because I want to have a very few personal policies so they have that much power and my friends and family know that is where I draw the line, and it's not like every little thing I have to do in life. Obviously we don't want to pay bills, but you can't make that a personal policy, you know? So let me tell you mine, and hopefully my examples will inspire you to create some of your own. Number 1 is I have decided this year that I will not drive in busy cities. I don't live in a city. It doesn't come up in my day-to-day life, so I feel confident enough saying that I don't want to drive in busy cities because it's not something that occurs frequently for me. I don't live in LA or San Francisco, you know, but I have driven enough times in busy cities to know that I'm over it. I have driven in LA, I have driven in San Francisco, I've driven around Sacramento plenty of times. Sacramento is actually where I draw the line. It's not that busy. It's a city, but it's not like San Francisco City, you know? There are one-ways and parallel parking and things like that. So it really depends on my mood that day if I'm comfortable driving in Sacramento. But generally, I'm drawing a line at that, and I will not drive in San Francisco or LA anymore. The last time I drove in San Francisco was, I mean, not the last time, the time before, because I do go to San Francisco like maybe 5 times a year, so that's kind of how frequent I would be driving in it, and I had a huge anxiety moment. I wouldn't say panic attack, but it was super, super high anxiety, and I was like, I think I'm done with this. Like, there's no need for me to drive in a city. And there isn't. I feel comfortable asking someone else to drive if if that situation comes up, I can tell my friends, hey, I don't feel confident driving in the city. I get nervous and you probably don't want me to drive. So how about we have you drive? Or one thing that I want to start doing is parking maybe outside the city or in a parking garage or somewhere where I'm comfortable driving, and then using Uber or Lyft to get around the city, because usually they're not that expensive. You're only going a couple blocks if you can't walk. Usually I'll just walk around, but obviously if you need to get to like the other side or something, using Uber or Lyft I feel like is reasonable. I feel like I'm being reasonable by saying I don't want to drive in cities. I have extreme driving anxiety, as you guys know. I've done videos on it, and it took me many years to get my license and finally get a car, so I feel like I don't need to feel obligated. I don't need to spend my energy and be super anxious about driving in a city when I have options to not drive in the city, you know? The next one is a little less reasonable, I think, for most people, but it's just something that I don't care about. Like, I really don't. And that is, I will not attempt to parallel park. I never have, and I never will. You know why? I don't really need to. I don't live in a place where I need to parallel park, and the places that I do, again, 5 times a year, I'm fine parking down the street where there is parking, or it's residential or something, or if I can just find parking, and walking a couple extra blocks. I really don't need to expel the energy and the stress that it takes for me to attempt to parallel park. I don't need that. If the people in the car are mad about that, I'm sorry, maybe you should drive. And I am totally comfortable. This totally happened once when I was in San Francisco and I could not parallel park, but there were spots, and so we switched drivers, and I was like, you can find a parallel parking spot if you want, but I am not personally going to try to do it. I think it's totally okay to put your foot down and be like, I'm not comfortable doing that. And you know, we're in a car, you don't want me to try. Trust me, I'm gonna be a stress ball and we might hit something, so how about we just avoid that altogether, and I'm not gonna do it. You can do it if you want to, or we're gonna park down the road and we're gonna walk. Number 3 is I will not text you back while I'm eating. I think it's pretty self-explanatory, but it can wait 20 minutes while I eat my meal. I don't want to have to care about too many things at once. I feel like we should be eating more mindfully and just being in that moment. Granted, my moment is filled with TV as well, but I can tune out for a little while I eat my food and watch TV. I don't need to be attached to my phone for that 20 to 30 minutes while I'm eating or cooking or whatever. Food time is me time. So I'm sorry if I can't get back to your phone call or your text right away or your email or your social media notification. I'm just not going to do it during that time. Number 4 is very specific to me, and it's actually one of Michelle's personal policies as well, and she gave me this idea as a content creator, as an influencer. I will not respond to emails that seem like cut and paste emails or that don't address me by my name. A lot of emails start out with, "Hi dear," "Hello girl." Not really, I just made that one up. But you know, it's like those kind of addressing, and it seems like they could copy and paste that to any YouTuber, you know? I like when the emails get personal. They name my channel, they say, "We really like this video," or "We like your channel, your content, what you do," and they address me by name. The other day I got an email and it said, "Dear Talent." That's how it started. And to me, that's very impersonal. You obviously copy and pasted that to every single influencer that you emailed that day. Dear Talent is just so generic. You couldn't have spent 2 seconds to see who you were emailing and put my name. It's not that long. Sarah, same amount of letters. Actually, it's less letters. Sarah is less letters than Talent, and you couldn't. Okay. And my last personal policy, number 5, is I will not sacrifice my sleep on a regular basis. I know a lot of people say you can sleep when you're dead. I don't believe in that. I do not. I did not believe in that when I was in school. Sleep is so important, at least to me, and it is definitely something I give a huge fuck about. So I'm gonna put a lot of energy on making sure that I get enough sleep. You know what I don't care about that much is being out late and partying. On occasion, I think it's okay to like stay out late and stay up late and, you know, live life, because that's what life is. You want to experience most of life, but part of that is being healthy and being rested, because I just cannot function on minimal sleep. I have done it before. I cannot. and I will not. So I'm pretty strict about when I want to be home. I tell people, you know what, I'm sorry, I'm a grandma. I like to be in bed at 9:30 or 10 at the latest, so I'm sorry, I'm just not gonna be able to stay out that late. I can still do dinners and stuff, you know. My friends kind of know that about me though, that I wake up early and I go to sleep early. It's just what I do, and I don't like to sacrifice that often. I'll do it sometimes, but generally I want to get enough sleep. Like, that's just something I'm not willing to compromise on all the time. And for me, all 5 of these things are part of self-love, like Michelle B talks about. I think it's really important to set boundaries for yourself and rules for your life that you aren't flexible on all the time. Maybe sometimes, sure, but generally I would speak up and be like, I'm not comfortable doing this, or this. I'm not going to care about them. I'm not going to expel the energy it takes to care about these things because they're not important to me. Like, there are other options for resolving those things that I don't need to expend the energy to resolve them. Self-love is not just about physical pampering to yourself. It's not about painting your toenails or doing a face mask. It's really about caring about yourself enough that you are willing to set those boundaries for yourself in your life. And if the people around you love you and care about you, they will respect that. I feel like it's reasonable to set those boundaries with yourself, and I feel like that's just part of growing up. You just care less and less about the things that usually stress you out because you don't need to. I challenge you guys to set your own personal policies. It doesn't have to be 5 or, you know, however many. Just set however many you can think of that you feel like you don't want to spend the energy worrying about anymore. Because I promise you, not a lot of people are going to have a strong opinion about your personal policies. If you say, I don't want to do that, or I can't do that, they're not going to challenge you that much, I hope. People generally can be pretty reasonable, so hopefully you won't get too much flack for your personal policies if you're like, hey, I don't do karaoke, which is another one of mine. That's less of a personal policy because I've never been invited, so I never really had the opportunity to say no, but I know it's something in me that I'm not going to do. I'm not going to get up on stage and sing. It's okay to not care about certain things and not want to do them. It is okay. So you can tell yourself, hey, I'm not going to care about these things. You can tell others, I don't care enough about that. Maybe not in those words. You want to be respectful. But I don't care enough about that to stress out about it. So I'm not going to. Let me know down below if you've come up with your own personal policies or what kind of things, boundaries that you've set for yourself in your life as a part of self-love and caring more about yourself than others, which sounds selfish, but you should always put yourself first. So let me know down below what your personal policies are. Of course, check out Michelle B because it was totally her original kind of video idea, and I will link the book down below so you can check that out as well, because again, not my original idea. I just thought I would share it with you and share with you my personal policies of things that I don't like compromising on. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.